Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends and family, loved ones. You know who you are. This is another little show you how to do something bracelet. I have here a speedy jig that suction cups down. I have a glass desk, so there will be reflections that you'll see that I really like this jig. Just because it's easy, they're small, that you can take them anywhere. Before, I had this, and as you can tell, it's quite a bit bigger. It works great, but it's awkward and it's large. Plus, sometimes it's not large enough because it only goes up to a little bit past that. Or actually, that is the end. As you can see, that's almost as far as it'll slide down. But this is good for probably 95% of what people want to do. Bracelets works great. Now, if you're wanting to do dog collars and you have a large neck dog, it may not work. Or in my case, what I needed to do, somebody wanted a hat band that wanted it 22 inches. And this can infinitely, from as long as you have the room to stick it to something, it works great, just to let you know. Now, somebody in the community was wanting a couple bracelets for him and his wife. And he wanted matching bracelets with this paracord because I sent him some. And he absolutely loved this pattern. Him and his wife both did. So, what you do, you have your bracelets. You have to have two sets. Make sure that you have opposite ones on each side. Because if not, helps if I push both of them in. When you go to clip it, they won't clip because you have either two males or two female ends. So that would not work well. In this case, with the way these are made, you want them both facing the same way when you clip them. If you see what I'm saying. That way, when you undo it, they'll be just the opposite on those ends. Now, the way I do this, I go through the top, and my wrist and hand is still achy from the other stuff. You do this and go over, and that's your first loop. I'm kind of doing this backwards because normally I do it the opposite way. I do it on the other end, but I think with me doing the knots, it'll be better showing from the top portion. Usually do this in the middle. If it's a little bit off, it's not that big of a deal. Then you feed from the top through and make sure that both strands, left stays to the left, right stays to the right. Now, doing the normal knot, one goes above, one always stays below. And you need to watch that. You see how this right here is on top is this cord? It always stays on top, the other one below. And make sure you do them nice and tight. Doing a loose one is not good. And you see how just keep this one always stays on top. So you do it over. Staying on top, that one stays on top. This one goes under and through that loop you created. Just pull it on through. It just makes the knot and pull. Of course, this over, under, through. Like I said, the biggest thing is to make sure you keep this, the same cord, on top. Just follow it around, top, top, top. It kind of does this all the way through, and the other one just loops through the end. That's your biggest thing. If you don't do that, and say you've come under instead of over, you see how it kind of looks weird? That's continuously doing that, from the left side being on top and the right side going under. That's what creates the DNA pattern, is what I call it, which is cool for like keychains and whatnot. Just make sure you do real tight, and that's why my hand usually ends up hurting, is because of how tight I do it. But I like a nice tight weave. That way, normally they won't shrink up. They're not loose and wobbly looking. But you end up with a nice solid bracelet. And if you're worried that you may not have done the bracelet before you get too far into it, take it off. Make sure that you do have it right side to right side, if you know what I mean. It's simple enough. I mean, you just keep going, and I don't know if I'm going to sit here and record the whole thing of me making this, because it's not. Oops, see? There. Mistake. I used the same cord and just went completely around. That would be a nice, really confusing thing. I grabbed the wrong one. There we go. And just do it tight. I don't know if you can see, probably not with the lighting. I have lots of little calluses on my fingers from paracord doing. Usually I'm dry right here on both hands from the paracord being. Yeah, you can kind of semi-see right there, because I hit my pinkies more frequently than I do the other ones. More habit than anything, but I have to alternate out which fingers I use to wrap, see, and tighten. But that's where they rub. If you do it a lot, you'll understand what I mean. But just my suggestion is, on the knots, make sure you do a good tight knot. Pay attention. It's not hard. You might end up having to undo a few if you realize you went the wrong way on one. But just keep going. And it'll take time. Like I've said, I've done these. This is the same pattern, of course, that I do for my monkey's fist, so it's not hard. I do them a lot, so I probably am a lot quicker at it than most people would be, other than other people that do a lot of paracord. But you've also got to realize I've probably been doing this for 10 plus years. And I still make mistakes. Don't get aggravated if you do make a mistake. Just keep on trucking and keep on working at it. It's just one of those things, as you do them, you get better with it in time. And when I was doing these bracelets, I honestly am. I lost one of my lights, so hopefully that didn't. Actually, it might have made it a little bit better. What was I saying? I don't remember. But, when I was doing the cord, these are supposed to be between 8.5 9 inches long, which is that one. The other one I did roughly 8.5. This one's going to be the more 9-inch size. They said that's the size of their wrists, and honestly, that seems to be quite large. My wrist is like right at a 7.25 to 7.5. And Brian's wrist is pushing at the most, I think, an 8-inch. But it's very possible very possible that their wrists are that large. If not, it'll just be a little loose on them. And one thing you can do with the paracord, even though with as tight as I make these knots, I'm not sure how well it will work because there isn't much for it to shrink up, is you can put it in hot water for a little while, like 30 seconds to a minute, like boiling hot water. Pull it out and let it dry, and it might shrink up the paracord a little bit. Like I said, I don't know how much it will do on the ones that I make. It may shrink it up a little bit, but I do extremely tight knots. And you can see I'm getting close here. Maybe 2 more knots, because I like to do it all the way. And I don't think I can. And also one thing that I do, mine are so tight that they don't even hardly move. If as you're working on them, until you get used to how tight you need to make them, you may want to push this up. That's not an issue for me. And this is, other than singeing, cutting and singeing each one, it's done. Now, some people, and it's great, will say, you know, take some of the paracord and put it on a fid, which is just a little metal piece that has a hollow end. And what you need to do is on the paracord is kind of like trim it at an angle, singe it, and then kind of twist it to where it has more of a point, and just kind of thread it into the end of the fid and twist it until it takes, and where it'll hold it, and work it in between the weaves. I've tried doing that with my paracord bracelets before, to have the cord tucked up underneath there. I couldn't get the fid in between there. I even had a flat-faced fid where the end of it was flat, to where I could try to do it. It was so tight, I honestly could not get it through that. So be aware that when you get mine, it's going to be cut and singed. And in like this case, if seeing that little bit of white there bothers you, you could sit there and do a Sharpie marker and color that in. But I mean, you see here how it's such a tight weave that it doesn't even really, it comes down a little bit. That's just right here at the end where the thing is. That's what's causing it. Because once I sit there and have it done, it's pretty stiff. But anyway, for those that are wanting to do their own bracelets with the clasps, buckles, that's how you do it. You don't need a jig of any sort. You can do it by hand. It's just the jigs help you to keep the length right until you get it started. Because a lot of times I don't use a jig when I make mine, because some of them I can't use the jig when I make mine. The ones that I make that are the same deal, but they're a slide knot, so they're slightly adjustable, and they just slide over the wrist and onto the hand. It has my diamond knot that I used on my monkey's fist as the knot. It goes through the loop. It's not possible to use a jig for those. So those I do by hand, and just do them as I'm sitting there watching YouTube videos usually, and lives, and trying to comment on people. So that's why a lot of times I'm making stuff when I'm there and I may miss comments or hellos or whatever, which I do apologize for. But hopefully this gives you an idea of a day in the life of Kelly making paracord items. Anyway, hope you found it entertaining and informational if you're wanting to make yourself a bracelet. You have a wonderful day. Much love. Hugs and kisses for those that want them. And leave a comment. Not, it's up to you. Subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it if you did. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.